so rich in antioxidants. And if you do the research on elderberries, you will find that the PubMed journals and other research articles will support cold and flu. And that is because elderberries are one of nature's top antiviral herbs. Okay, they're also a powerful anti-inflammatory. They also have properties called anthocyanins, which actually create a protection barrier around our cells to stop the penetration of viruses. And that's where people turn to them oftentimes during cold and flu season, because it works as a preventative in supporting our immune system. Now, elderberries are also rich in quercetin, which quercetin is often people will turn to for allergy and sinus health. So it's also great for that as well. In addition, they help regulate healthy blood sugar levels. They are great for supporting digestive health and
Aloha and welcome to another show, guys. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a positive review. And please share this episode with anyone who you think may need to hear it. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Every donation helps and is much appreciated. Today, our special guest is Jessica Lowery, founder of the Power of Elderberries. Her journey began in 2013, pregnant and sick, searching for a safe, natural option. One homemade batch later, she was a believer. By 2018, that kitchen remedy became a mission-driven, small batch company crafted with European organic black elderberries. With 12 years as a public health lecturer, Jessica brings both vigor and heart to our conversation today. Today, we'll unpack what actually makes elderberries potent and the deep lore, the elder mother, and why some people report vivid dreams after a bedtime spoonful. If you love outside the box conversation, follow, subscribe, and leave a positive review so more people can find this show. Now, let's bring Jessica into this conversation. Enjoy the show. Aloha, Jessica, and welcome to the show. I'm excited you're here today to share your passion for holistic health and the incredible story behind the Power of Elderberry. And Jessica, your story starts with a powerful personal experience while pregnant, seeking a natural alternative to flu symptoms. And that led you to the elderberry syrup, which kind of changed your life and sparked this mission. Can you take us back to that moment and tell us about yourself and how this one discovery in your kitchen grew into this power of elderberries?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for having me. It was actually back in 2013 when I first discovered elderberry. At that time, I was pregnant with my first son and was not feeling well, went to the doctor, chills, body aches, all the things, and really wanted something holistic and natural. Around the age of 19, when I was in college, I really turned away from Western medicine and really stepped into this holistic realm. I had three natural childbirths, and we've always really turned to holistic remedies when it comes to our kids. And so in that moment, I discovered elderberry for the very first time. And after getting my hands on some, I was amazed at how quickly I felt better. And in that moment, really just became a believer in wow, this stuff actually works. Now, at that time, I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I really wanted her to take elderberry from what I had discovered for myself in the use and how beneficial it was for overcoming my symptoms at that time. The problem was is that every brand I would bring home, she disliked the taste. And it really took me back to my childhood because the kicking, the screaming, the just emotional, like distraught that we were going through together in that moment of her not liking and spitting out every brand that I would bring home. So really, I just kind of got frustrated, but also let it all go. So I knew that if I wanted to turn to it for myself, I could, but knowing that she wasn't gravitating to any brand, I just kind of gave up. Well, 5 years went by, and now we're in 2018. At that time, my 2-year-old was now older, and I had three children under the age of 5. We were financially struggling in our family at that time, and I was looking for a natural remedy to bring into my home to support my kids' immune system because we were also in a cold and flu epidemic. And naturally, of course, I'm like, oh, we need elderberry, right? But because I knew that she didn't really like the taste of any brand I would bring home, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to gather up the ingredients and make my own because then I have control over the quality of ingredients as well as the taste for my three children. So that's exactly what I did. And I made up a batch in my home. And then I thought, oh my gosh, here we are in a flu epidemic. I need to tell all my friends and family about this. So I put a post out on social media of myself making it in my home kitchen. And to my surprise, I had a couple friends ask if I had any extra they could purchase from me. And in that moment, I not only stepped into this calling, but I also knew in that moment that it was an answered prayer because I had been praying for a way to bring more income into our family. And I knew that was what I was being called to. But little did I know that it was such a bigger purpose than that, and that I would be stepping into entrepreneurship and running a business and leaving my love for teaching as I was a lecturer at the university for 12 years, teaching public health classes. So that's kind of where my journey with coming into this business with Elderberry really started. And of course, the journey continues today.
Wow. Do you use fresh elderberries? Do you use the leaves, the flowers, the stem?
So that's a great question. There's actually a lot of different species and varieties of the elderberry plant. We use the European black elderberry and actually import them from Europe. And it's really important to note that it is the European black elderberry that the research supports to have the medicinal properties. So when listeners are going and researching elderberries and all these amazing benefits they have, it's important to know what variety and species of the elderberry plant you're actually dealing with. And oftentimes you'll see that scientific name, which is Sambucus nigra in parentheses, on the ingredient list if it is in fact the European black elderberry being used. So we do use them. Now, it's important to note too, the leaves and the stems from my own research, you want to stay away from. And it's also important that elderberries are cooked and not eaten raw. So there's some different things to kind of know about elderberry. It's not just something that we can go to the grocery store and get or just eat raw by ourselves like we would other fruits.
Wow, is it because it's poisonous if you do that?
So yes, it does. It has cyanide in it, and you can definitely taste a difference if you do get the stems and the leaves. So it's just important to know. But of course, supplements that are elderberry are going to be processed in a way that you don't have to worry about that. But just for people that are like, oh, I want to grow some elderberries, right? There's definitely things that you want to research and get to know about them before ingesting them.
Wow. Elderberry has been used for centuries across cultures like Native American, European herbal traditions for cold and flu and more. I think that long history tells us a lot about its effectiveness, where I guess today we've forgotten about those traditions, and I think we should bring them back.
Absolutely. In fact, the Hippocrates, the father of medicine, referred to elderberries as his medicine chest because it seemed to be such a cure-all to so many different health ailments back in that time. So they would use tinctures and teas and syrups and all these different ways to where nowadays you often see them in the same ways, but it's often even extended to skincare because they're so rich in antioxidants. And if you do the research on elderberries, you will find that the PubMed journals and other research articles will support cold and flu. And that is because elderberries are one of nature's top antiviral herbs. Okay. They're also a powerful anti-inflammatory. They also have properties called anthocyanins, which actually create a protection barrier around our cells to stop the penetration of viruses. And that's where people turn to them oftentimes during cold and flu season because it works as a preventative in supporting our immune system. Now, elderberries are also rich in quercetin, which quercetin is often people will turn to support allergy and sinus health. So it's also great for that as well. In addition, they help regulate healthy blood sugar levels. They are great for supporting digestive health and they're rich in antioxidants. They have properties called rutin in them, which is really great for heart health. So think like blood flow, cholesterol, blood pressure support, things like that. And then in our particular formula, we use not only the European black elderberry, but also local raw honey, ginger root, cinnamon sticks, and whole cloves that really help amplify the benefits of all of those ingredients coming together.
Wow, yeah, I've tasted your syrup. It's delicious. It tastes like I can taste the cinnamon in it. I can taste like the plumminess in it. It's really good. It's very unique.
It is. It reminds me of apple butter. If anyone's ever had apple butter,
Mm.
I kind of get a little bit of that taste when I have the liquid form. Yes.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's amazing. And yours is unique. I like how it's in a glass dark bottle that helps to naturally preserve the elderberry. Is that what that does?
Yeah, so amber glass helps protect any ingredients within that. That's where a lot of companies will use amber because you're not going to get the light going into the bottles that have impact on the integrity of the ingredients that that brand's using.
Wow. And I believe yours, do we keep it in the fridge?
That's right. Our elderberry syrup liquid is kept refrigerated, and then we also have it in a bite form, which is a chewable version of our liquid for on the go. So it's essentially the same benefits of the actual product. We just have it in two different forms. One's refrigerated and one is shelf stable.
Wow. The studies show that elderberry has, like you mentioned, antiviral properties, yet the mainstream medicine, they haven't really fully embraced that. Why the hesitation? Do you think there's any signs that the pharmaceutical companies may be downplaying it?
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because if we look back to 1995, the Panama government actually employed the use of elderberry when they were having a flu epidemic at that time. So there have been governments that have stepped into notifying the public that this is what you need to get your hands on. And it can be rather frustrating for people that know the properties as well as the benefit that it can bring to our health, and definitely in times of need to where it's not being discussed. So, unfortunately, supplements in general are kind of pushed to the wayside because Western medicine and pharmaceuticals is going to take, the lead in the just the way that our country is here.
Yeah.
And it's
Are
a
there any?
shame, it really is.
It
But I
is.
think people are starting to wake up and I think they're wanting to do their own research and dig in. And frankly, a lot of people are sick and tired of being sick and tired and really have wanted to lean more into nature's medicine chest, right? I believe that God gave us everything that we need on this earth, and there is a lot of information and research out there to be tapped into. Some ancient traditions like the elderberry and other things that have the opportunity to support our health and vitality in a really, really big way. And I'm fortunate to have my hands and my family's hands on those ingredients and share them with other people. But I think that, more and more people are wanting to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any risks or side effects, especially for taking elderberry long term or for pregnant women?
That's always something when people ask questions like that, or can I take it with this prescription medication or that? I always like to rely on reaching out to their practitioner to get additional information. Now, I took elderberry syrup while I was pregnant. I also took it while I was nursing, but you might come across information or talk to your OB that advises you not to take it. So I think it's individual preference and also just leaning into what you feel is best for you as far as, um, you know, reaching out to your practitioner and also doing what you feel best for your own body. Some people, if they get too much elderberry in them, it will create, let's just say, like loose stools or a laxative effect. Which the same thing would happen if you were eating plums or anything else, right? So it is one of those things to kind of watch out for that if you're getting too much in your body. But other than that, I would say no. I know from personal experience and the hundreds of thousands of bottles that we've sold that we really haven't had anyone reach out that have had a negative side effect from taking the product. Um, so I think that it's completely safe. And of course, each individual body is different as far as whether you have allergens that maybe you didn't know because you've never had it before, or some kind of reaction with maybe a medication or something that I wouldn't be knowledgeable enough to know about.
Wow. How do commercial elderberry products like syrups, gummies compare to homemade preparations in terms of potency, purity, and is there any risk of adulteration in the industry?
Oh my gosh, such a great question. Well, that's what really inspired me to want to make my own, to have better control over the quality of ingredients. If we just want to start with ingredients first, I always tell people looking at that ingredient list on any supplement or food product for that nature is going to tell you more about the product than anything else. And if we turn the label around and look at a lot of elderberry supplements on the market, unfortunately, a lot of them have a lot of added sugar, whether that's refined sugar, tapioca syrup, agave, high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners. Be wary of products and supplements that say no sugar added, okay? Even though it sounds really, really healthy and natural, I assure you there are hidden sweeteners being put in those products. So just kind of be watchful for that. Other things to watch out for are for things like fillers, thickeners, dyes, added concentrates, which is oftentimes code word for added sugar. We don't add preservatives, but some products do. Sometimes they add gelatin, which is going to come from animal byproduct. Um, and then you have, you know, additional things that could be added to the product as well that ours don't have. Ours is also paleo friendly, so that alone tells you how clean it is. As far as gummies, also first ingredient is typically added sugar. Then they might coat them in sugar so they don't stick together in the bottle. Most gummies have gelatin in them, which is going to kind of create that bouncing effect in your mouth that our bites don't have because we don't use any gelatin. That sugar difference between our bites and gummies in the market, you can tell right away when you bite into one of how pure and clean tasting it is compared to a traditional or ordinary gummy on the market compared to what we have to offer. And simply goes back to our ingredients. I mean, when you're eating something with no sugar, fillers, dyes, flavoring, concentrates, gelatin, it's like, wow, I've never tasted anything like this before. This is so pure and clean tasting. As far as potency, I know that was something else that you mentioned. That is really important that you said that because I've actually compared our product to competitors on on the market just to kind of know how does our potency level compare to traditional commercial brands that are out there. And for example, there is a nationally known brand that makes elderberry gummies. They label them as extra strength. And after learning more by reading that supplement label, I realized that just one gummy of that brand had 7.5 milligrams of elderberry versus our one bite has 238.
Wow.
I know It's just crazy. And as a consumer, it can be very, very hard and confusing to understand, well, how do I navigate the marketing claims and the extra strength immune gummies on the front of the label to then realize that there's hardly any that goes into the product, right? And in terms of those milligrams, especially that we see on vitamins, it can be really, really confusing because it's like, well, how many should I be looking for? What is that level that I'm looking for to get benefit out of the product? But oftentimes, unfortunately, the bigger brands are always looking for ways to make the most profit. And unfortunately, that really goes into what ingredients they're using to save costs. And there is a difference in ingredients as well as potency. And what was the third thing that you mentioned? Maybe like
Uh,
the integrity of the company, or oh, I guess something else that we can even talk about is third-party lab testing. So that's something that we take very seriously, and we make sure that our products are being tested for consumer safety, quality, and it's also part of our FDA registration and compliance that not all supplement companies are stepping into registering themselves, which then doesn't put them under the compliance and regulations that some supplement companies are held to while others are not. So it's just important to know, where are your products being made, right? Are they being third-party lab tested? Because that also ensures that that best by date on the product is actually true to the product being tested for mold and mildew and bacteria growth and all those other things, that if it's not getting shipped off to a third-party lab and it's only done in-house, none of those things could essentially be accurate because it's not being tested over a long period of time to know that accuracy. So there's a lot that I've learned personally just from stepping into this business that, of course, I didn't know while I was teaching and had a whole different career. But I've really taken it seriously and taken it into my own hands to learn. And my gosh, have we learned so much over the last 7 years?
wow. Yeah, purity. I guess that would be the mold. I never thought of that mold being on the, I guess, the berries itself when they're being made.
Well, you also have to think about the product as a whole. Like, how long does that product actually stay good for
Oh,
before any
mm,
type of bacteria or mold is being able to be grown inside that bottle, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so you don't really know that unless you're getting testing and investing their resources for a lab to do that for you. So if you have your, people making it out of their kitchen and selling it in marketplace, or Etsy, who knows, all these smaller businesses that people like to, support local and purchase from. You just have to know that if they're not taking the extra steps for consumer safety and quality control, that is important and that should be considered. And that is something that we take very seriously, even being a small business and a small company, because from the very beginning, I always told people what I want for my own family is what I also want to offer to yours. And that's what I want for my own family. I want my kids to take supplements that I know are not only clean ingredients and quality, but they've also had that testing done for consumer safety.
Wow. How does sourcing and cultivation of elderberries impact their properties? And are
Mm.
there concern about sustainability or pesticide use in the industry?
Ah, I love that you asked that because really the soil matters, right? And when it comes to Europe and how high their standards are, that is why not only are the European black elderberries beneficial in terms of medicinal properties, but the sourcing is crucial. Because yes, we could get elderberries here in the United States, but going back to what we talked about earlier, if they're being sprayed with pesticides and fertilizer sprays and our standards are so low, why would I want to have that particular ingredient in soil and pesticides and all those things and added toxins that really aren't necessary in such a high quality supplement formulation? And that is also a reason why we partner with an organic farm in Bulgaria to not only get the European black elderberry, but also knowing that that soil is rich in nutrients, which then play a role in the properties that the elderberries are growing in, and also knowing that those elderberries also have a certificate of analysis, which is called a COA, to know that they've been tested for their purity before they're even sold to us. So, I feel so good about our sourcing and where we're getting our ingredients from. And I think it has really helped make a difference in the efficacy of the product in terms of how well it works for people because we are so prudent on our sourcing of ingredients.
Wow. Have you ever visited there, that farm in Europe?
I haven't, no. I was actually thinking, gosh, I want to go visit you. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
And here in Hawaii, yes.
Yes, absolutely. No, I haven't, but that would be really neat too.
It would, yes. I guess how much milligrams of elderberry, I don't know what you call it, is in your syrup?
So 1 tablespoon gives you 764. Okay.
Wow.
A teaspoon is 254. And then our bites have 238 milligrams per one bite. So they are all very rich and potent. And what's incredible is that if you look at some articles out there, some have kind of thrown around how much elderberry they think you should get. And of course, our potency is so much higher than that, which is another reason why our products are effective. But we have people that swear and are reliant, let's just say, on taking 2 tablespoons a day. So now we're talking almost 1,500 milligrams of elderberry going into their system every day, of course, with those other ingredients that we talked about earlier. But what we're finding is it's having such a profound effect on not only immune support, but sinus and allergy health and the joint pain, inflammation, and increased mobility that I don't think you're going to come close to getting in other supplements in regards to that high of a potency that just 2 tablespoons of our product can provide.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So it's really
Um,
neat to know that. But of course, I think
yeah,
those other ingredients are playing a role as well.
sure. Absolutely. Um, are these people taking it daily? 1 or 2
Yes.
tablespoons? Wow.
So most of our customers are on our loyalty membership, which is an auto replenishment for monthly or bi-monthly subscription. And that double dose, a tablespoon in the morning and a tablespoon at night of our formula, is what's supporting the joint mobility so much that people don't want to go a day without it because they can feel a difference when they do. So although we typically only recommend a tablespoon a day for adults or a teaspoon for children, which also many other people will do, some find it beneficial for doubling up their dose to help support their joint inflammation or their allergies to where they don't have to rely on like over-the-counter medicine and they can just take our product that's all natural instead. And I think it's also important to note that, a lot of times people will turn to elderberry during cold and flu season because of its known properties that it has to support the immune system and all the things that we talked about earlier. It's also something that you can do daily, or for some people, they just turn to it when they're not feeling well. And so, if we kind of go back to my story on how it all started of me not feeling well and then turning and finding elderberry to help combat my symptoms naturally and using it as a natural remedy, some people will just turn to elderberry for that as well. So we always tell people, it can be daily, it can be seasonally, or it can just be when you're not feeling well. It's completely up to you. But most of our customers find value in taking it daily to not only prevent themselves from getting sick, but they're finding that it's hitting multiple buckets in terms of energy or supporting sleep or joint mobility or allergies and sinuses or blood sugar regulation, supporting healthy levels of all the things.
Hey Ohana, I hope you're loving this conversation as much as I am. I just wanted to pause for a quick moment to ask for your support. If you're enjoying what you're hearing and feel like we've earned it, we'd be so grateful if you could leave us a rating or review. Your honest feedback really helps us grow and reach more people who love exploring these fascinating topics. And if you think this episode would resonate with someone you know, don't forget to share it with them. Mahalo nui loa for being part of our journey. Now, back to the show.
Wow, that's incredible. It has so much medicinal power behind just such a small berry. It's incredible.
It really
Um,
is.
I know. And now that we've explored the practical side of elderberries, I'm ready to dive in a little bit into the woo woo, peeling back the layers of ancient mysteries, spiritual essence that make elderberry this sacred plant. I know elderberry isn't just a remedy, it's a vessel um, of divine wisdom, kind of woven into myths, rituals, um, cosmic cycle of cultures worldwide for thousands of years. Its lore speaks of goddesses and ancestral spirits, and I want to kind of uncover those hidden, suppressed truths behind what really reveal the elderberry soul, so to speak. Now, I've done a lot of research into elderberry and uncovered a lot of esoteric and ancient lore. I'd love to share a few of those findings with you, and if you don't know or have heard of it, it's okay, but it's pretty deep stuff. The European myths warned that sleeping under an elder tree could transport you to fairy realms through vivid and otherworldly dreams. Have you heard of that? Have your customers, your clients ever reported any kind of intuitive or mystical dreamlike experience tied to elderberry?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I'm just like in awe listening to you unravel this. I'm like leaning in, like where I can't wait to see like what you shared, what you've uncovered, and what you've read. It's so interesting that you shared that in terms of vivid dreams, because what our customers have shared is if they take our product before they go to bed, it's promoting better sleep. But oftentimes they find that they're not waking up as often, or if they do, they're not staying awake as long. And many have reported back having vivid dreams when they take it before they go to bed. So I literally
Wow.
had hairs like
I got chicken
standing
skin
up.
too.
I know it's like right here on my arms. And
Wow.
just the other night, my son, he woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a stomach ache, and he was like,
Mm,
"Mom, I have a stomach ache." And of course, naturally, the only thing we have to offer him is our elderberry syrup. So I give him a dose, and naturally, I'm like, "Hey, it's the middle of the night. I'm going to take a dose too. Like, why not?" So I take some with him, and I rub him, his back, and within 5 to 7 minutes, he started feeling better, and he fell back asleep. And I woke up about 7 a.m. that morning and I was having the most vivid dream. And for you to say that, it's interesting because I took that dose in the middle of the night with him. And what's even funnier and crazy is I said, "Hey, buddy, how did you sleep last night?" And you want to know what he said? He said, "Mom, you're not going to believe this. I had the craziest dream last night." So, with all of that being shared, I feel
Yeah,
like it directly ties in with what you just said, which is so
absolutely.
fascinating and interesting
Yeah,
to reflect on. And I don't know if
yeah.
there's, assimilating between all that, but I just wanted to share.
Yes, no. So I read that in British dramatic and manic folklore, sleeping under an elder tree was believed to induce visions of fairy realms or otherworldly dimensions, reflecting its role on a on this plant, bridging humans and spiritual worlds together. So, this belief was tied to elders' subtle psychoactive associations in folklore, where its berries or
Mm,
flowers were used in rituals to enhance intuition, dream work, psychic sensitivity, and the plant's connection to subconsciousness may stem from its chemical compounds like flavonoids, which promote relaxation and potentially amplifying dream states. Wow,
wow,
it's incredible, right? And
so
that came
incredible.
from the Practical Herbalist book. Yeah, that's incredible. Um, Ancient European traditions planted elder trees near homes to shield against negative energies or
Mm,
malevolent spirits, believing their sacred presence purified spaces. Do you think this spiritual productive quality might amplify physical benefits of your elderberry products? Creating this holistic shield, not only in your body, but spirit. It's
mm,
interesting.
so interesting. I love this.
I know. It's incredible. And a lot of these lores and traditions of ancient times, they really had I don't know, something to it. I don't know how they knew it, but they were so in touch with
Hmm.
themselves, the earth, you
Nature.
know?
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, a lot of times they said, let me see, Germanic and Celtic, they um they planted the elder trees near their homes or their branches hung over their door to ward off evil spirits, negative energy, or misfortune. This practice stemmed from elders' sacred status as a guardian plant, its spiritual potency believed to enhance its medicinal effect against ailments like fevers, colds, or infections. Wow, that's basically what you're saying. It helps with everything. Wow.
And just to follow up from that real quickly, I think I shared earlier I had three natural childbirths, and we've always been into holistic natural remedies.
Mhm.
But if you came into my home right now and you were like, Jessica, I have this awful headache. Like, can I get some ibuprofen or Tylenol or something? Lovingly, I would share that I don't have any. Like, we don't have it in our house to give you. If this is the only product that our family has used in over 12 years since our daughter was 2. And I think it goes to show all the different uses that it has and some that we don't always think about, like a headache or a stomach ache, because we're all so much focused on cold and flu and, some things that we might come across. But we've even put it topically on the skin. Like we use it for everything. So
Wow.
it's just so interesting um, on the impact that nature can have on so many different healing properties for our body, especially the elderberry. But I just wanted to share that too because we don't always think to try it for different things. But I encourage people to, because a lot of our customers have been surprised by underlying issues that they've been dealing with for years that they've had no answers for, that has brought healing to their body in ways that we never imagined. So it's just incredible. And the more that you share about the history. It's just so fascinating. So I'm leaning in to hear more.
Yeah. And you said you used it for your skin. How do you do that? Your syrup?
Yeah, our liquid. Hmm.
Wow. What do you
Yeah.
do?
So I've put it like on cuts and scrapes before,
Really?
because I have two boys, and
Mhm.
during that particular time, like I didn't have antibiotic cream. I didn't have anything to like help them in any way. And because it's so rich in raw honey, raw honey's antifungal,
Mhm.
antibacterial, antimicrobial. So if you think about the elements that are going in with the elderberry and the healing properties they all bring together, I did put it topically on their skin. My son in particular, I think he was around 5 at the time, he got stung by a wasp and he was screaming and crying. I didn't know what to do to help him, so I just slapped some and rubbed it all over the sting and then had him ingest it. And within about 2 to 3 minutes, he just stopped crying. He said, Mom, it doesn't sting anymore.
Oh,
We've
wow.
also had people that this woman came to me and asked, do you think it will help with my plantar's warts? And I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. And she said, well, how do you think I should try it? And I was like, okay, well, let me think about this. Why don't you just try taking it like 3 times a day and put some topically on the bottoms of your feet before you go to bed and just throw a pair of socks on and just see what happens. Like, I honestly had no idea, right? She comes back a week later and she's like, Jessica, you're not going to believe this. I canceled my surgery. They all fell off. this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about where
Yeah,
it's like mind-boggling. Like you just
yeah,
really can't wrap your head around understanding it. But because we've been in contact with so many customers, especially face to face with our local community, it's so intriguing to hear all the different things. So that's why like I encourage people like try it out for different things because listen to this. We're like leaning into Mother Nature in this incredible resource of natural ingredients from Earth that we have at our fingertips, you know?
absolutely. Wow. You know, the Slavonic, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Their folklore believed that an elder tree planted near the home will ensure a peaceful death or soothe restless spirits. So I wonder if,
Mm,
elderberry's spiritual role extends beyond that, like the physical health, but also easing emotional, spiritual, all that stuff. I mean, it does so much. Um, so when they planted their elder tree near the home or they placed its twig over its grave, it believed to ensure a peaceful death or calm the restless spirits, positioning elder as a psychopop. I don't know what that means. Guided and it guides your soul through transition. So this role tied elders to rites of passage from birth to death, reflecting its ability to harmonize life's cycle. The plant's calming properties, possibly linked to its sedative flavonoids, may have reinforced its spiritual use in easing grief, fear, or extended turmoil. Wow,
mm.
that's incredible. Have you ever heard of the elder's hollow stem that was crafted into flutes? It was linked to the god's Pan. You've heard of that? That's the god that of the goat god and played the flute. I didn't know that was a hollowed out elder stem. It symbolizes life's breath and creates spark. Wow,
Hmm.
that's really interesting. Um,
Mm.
It says here that Native American tribes like Cherokee used elders for ceremonial blowpipes, while European employed its stems as bellows to ignite sacred fires, tying elders to creation and spiritual spark. This lure suggests elderberry carries an energetic frequency of inspiration and life force. Wow. And it goes on. That's
Love that.
incredible. Um, yeah, that's incredible. I love all that stuff, the lure. Um, do you um do you have any thoughts on dried berries and I guess making it yourself? Do you use fresh or dried berries? Can you use
We use
berries?
so we use the dried berries.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because we do partner with an organic farm in Europe, right? Like I
Hmm.
was telling you before. Um, I haven't done a whole lot of research in terms of the fresh berries versus the dried, more so on the different species and varieties of the plant. But yes, the dried berries are still very potent, and of course, ours are free of the pesticides and the fertilizer sprays and the scientific species and name of the variety that we're looking for. So all those things are great to consider.
Wow. I know a long time ago, they also, the folklore was to respect the elder mother in rituals, and they offered milk or prayers before harvesting to avoid any kind of misfortune. So that's incredible.
So many
Um,
spiritual elements to it. I love it.
I know. Do you guys have like do you yourself kits so you can do it at home?
We do not. No, we have the products already made. Of course, they are handcrafted. We make small, fresh batches daily. And it's the same recipe and formula that I started out of my home kitchen, making it myself around 8 years ago. So we do take pride on just keeping the quality and integrity the same as it has always been.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this was fun, Jessica. I want to thank you so much for sharing your incredible insights today with us and your passion for elderberries, healing power, and its deep spiritual roots has truly opened our eyes to the magic and wisdom of this sacred plant, from its practical benefits to its magical lore. You've given us a lot to think about, and I really appreciate that. But for our listeners who want to explore more about you and your power of elderberries, how can they find you? Where can they find your products?
Yeah, the best way is to go to our website. It's the Power of Elderberries, IES on the end.com. And they can also follow us on social media at the Power of Elderberries. Both ways are great to learn more about our products and to just educate yourself even further.
Oh, that's awesome. We're again so grateful for your wisdom that you brought with us today, blending this practical and mystical side of this incredible plant. So, mahalo for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
A huge mahalo to Jessica from the Power of Elderberries for sharing both the science and lore behind this remarkable plant. If you want to try her elderberry syrups or bites, please head over to thepowerofelderberries.com and you can follow her at the Power of Elderberries. All links will be in the show notes below. If this conversation helped you, please follow, subscribe, and give the video a thumbs up. Please hit the bell and leave a positive review. It really helps more people to find this show. And to support my work directly, you can check out Patreon or buy me a coffee. Mahalo nui loa for listening. Stay curious, and I'll see you on the next episode. Hui hokako. Bye.